There are moments in life when it feels like the universe has gone quiet, like everything you've tried, every effort you've made, every ounce of energy you've poured into something, somehow vanished into nothing, like your prayers hit the ceiling and fell back down unanswered, like your work disappeared into silence, like your hope echoed into a void. But what if I told you that this silence, this stillness, this uncertainty, isn't the universe turning its back on you? What if it's the universe rearranging everything for what comes next? Because even when it looks like nothing is happening, something always is. I know what it feels like to wonder why. Why is it taking so long? Why didn't the things you were sure were meant for you work out? Why can you feel that something bigger is waiting, but you can't see it yet? Why does it feel like you're standing at the edge of something, but the door hasn't opened, and it's in that space, that in-between, where the mind starts to question everything. Did I make the wrong choices? Did I miss my chance? Am I falling behind everyone else? Is the universe even listening? But what you don't realize in that moment is that your life is being written in a language you're not meant to read just yet, because the universe isn't careless. It's intentional, always. There's a rhythm to this life, an invisible choreography unfolding beneath everything you see, a divine order moving behind the scenes. And just like the tides don't rush the moon, the universe doesn't rush your becoming. You're not behind. You're not late. You're not off track. You're in timing. There is a sacred order even inside chaos, though it rarely feels that way when you're standing in the middle of it, because to you, it looks like things are falling apart. But to the universe, things are falling into place. Think back to a time in your life when something you desperately wanted didn't work out. Maybe it was a job, a relationship, a move, a dream, something you believed was meant to define your next chapter. At the time, it felt like rejection, like failure, like loss. But if you look at it now, from where you are today, can you see how it redirected you, how it reshaped you, how it refined your standards, how it deepened your awareness, how it prepared you for something better than what you were originally chasing? That's what divine timing looks like in real life. Not in quotes, not in affirmations, not in pretty phrases, but in hindsight, when everything finally clicks, and you realize the universe knew exactly what it was doing with you, even when it felt like you were standing in the ruins of what you thought your life was supposed to be. Because there is intelligence behind every ending. There is wisdom behind every delay. There is purpose behind every detour. It's not punishment. It's protection. It's preparation. Because if everything you wanted arrived before you were emotionally ready, before you were mentally strong enough, before you were spiritually grounded enough, it wouldn't empower you. It would overwhelm you. Sometimes the waiting isn't the problem. It's the blessing. Because the waiting is where your spirit strengthens. The waiting is where your discernment sharpens. The waiting is where your resilience grows. The waiting is where your faith matures. The waiting is where your nervous system learns safety. The waiting is where your soul learns trust. And you know that feeling, that quiet whisper inside you that says, hold on, something's coming. That's not wishful thinking. That's alignment beginning to take shape. That's your energy syncing with what's already being prepared for you. You might not see it yet, but connections are being woven, doors are being positioned, opportunities are rearranging, timing is synchronizing, paths are being cleared, and the version of you who can receive it all is still being built. The universe isn't late, it's precise. Every person who's ever walked this path has gone through this middle chapter, the one that feels endless, the one that feels heavy, the one that feels uncertain, the one that feels invisible, the one where nothing makes sense, the one where you feel suspended between who you were and who you're becoming. But this middle chapter is sacred because it's where you develop the strength that will carry you into the next one. It's where your character forms. It's where your patience deepens. It's where your wisdom sharpens. It's where your self-trust rebuilds. It's where your resilience roots itself. It's where your inner voice grows louder than your fear. There's a quiet power in surrender, not in giving up, but in letting go of the need to control the timing of your transformation. Because what if the very thing you've been waiting for is waiting on you to trust? You see, the universe works in balance. Energy for energy, intention for intention, alignment for alignment. And when you soften, when you stop resisting, When you release that frantic need to know how, when you release that desperate urge to know when, you create space. Space for clarity, space for healing, space for guidance, space for miracles, space for what's meant for you to finally find you. You've been through more than you give yourself credit for, more heartbreak than you admit, more disappointment than you acknowledge, more emotional weight than anyone sees, more rebuilding than anyone knows. And yet, you're still here. That says something. Every heartbreak that forced you to rebuild, every closed door that redirected you, every ending that reshaped you, every betrayal that refined your boundaries, every disappointment that sharpened your discernment, every season of silence that tested your faith, none of it was random, none of it was wasted, none of it was meaningless. You haven't been waiting for the universe to catch up to you. The universe has been waiting for you to rise into the version of yourself that can receive what you asked for. So, if it feels heavy right now, if it feels confusing, if it feels lonely, if it feels slow, if it feels uncertain, breathe. The weight you're carrying isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign your life is expanding. The law of rhythm teaches that everything moves in cycles: expansion and contraction, growth and rest, release and renewal, action and integration. The law of gestation teaches that every dream, every vision, every transformation, every breakthrough has its own incubation period. And the law of correspondence reminds us that what's unfolding inside of you is mirrored in the world around you. So if things feel quiet right now, it's because something inside you is growing roots before it grows wings. Trust the laws that govern your growth. They are not random. They are cosmic promises. The universe doesn't withhold. It aligns. And one day, you'll look back at this version of you, not with regret, not with shame, not with disappointment, but with gratitude. You'll look back at the version of you who cried quietly at night, not because you were weak, but because you were strong enough to feel, strong enough to hope, strong enough to keep believing even when belief felt dangerous. You'll remember the version of you who doubted themselves in silence, who smiled in public while breaking in private, who carried questions no one else could hear, who wondered if they were enough, if they were doing enough, if they were becoming enough. You'll look back at the version of you who kept showing up even when nothing was working, when doors stayed closed, when progress felt invisible, when effort felt unrewarded, when hope felt exhausting, when faith felt fragile, and still, you showed up. You'll remember the version of you who stayed when walking away would have been easier, who didn't quit when quitting made sense, who didn't run when running would have hurt less, who didn't give up when giving up felt logical, who chose endurance over escape, who chose growth over comfort. You'll remember the version of you who kept believing when nothing made sense, when timelines didn't match your prayers, when outcomes didn't match your effort, when reality didn't match your vision, when life didn't match your faith, and somehow you still trusted, you still hoped, you still tried. And one day you'll realize, not suddenly, not dramatically, not in fireworks or miracles, but quietly, softly, naturally, that everything you were walking through was walking you towards something, that everything you endured was shaping something, that everything you survived was strengthening something. And you'll see how it was all building. Every delay, every disappointment, every detour, every closed door, every unanswered prayer, every ending you didn't understand, every season that felt like nothing was happening, all of it, building toward the life you were always meant to live. You'll see how the delays weren't denials. They were divine protection. How the endings weren't losses. They were redirections. How the confusion wasn't chaos. It was guidance rearranging your path. How the waiting wasn't punishment. It was preparation strengthening your spirit. How the breakdowns weren't failures. They were breakthroughs forming beneath the surface. Because when the universe writes your story, it doesn't rush chapters. It doesn't skip lessons. It doesn't waste pain. It doesn't abandon plot lines. It doesn't leave loose ends. Only lessons that unfold exactly when your soul is ready to understand them. And one day, sooner than you think, you'll wake up and realize that What once felt impossible has quietly become your reality, not in a moment of shock, but in a moment of recognition, not through luck, but through alignment, not because everything finally worked, but because you finally became the version of yourself who could receive it. And if you're in that space right now, that fragile space between endings and beginnings, between what was and what's coming, between who you used to be and who you're becoming, let this land. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not broken. You are not failing. You are not off track. You are not being tested for no reason. You are not lost. You are not invisible. You are not wasting time. You are not standing still. You are not alone. The universe has seen your patience. Every quiet moment you didn't quit. It has felt your prayers. Every whisper you didn't stop sending. It has witnessed your effort. Every attempt no one applauded. It has counted your tears. Every breakdown you survived privately. It has recorded your resilience. Every time you got up when staying down made sense. It has honored your endurance. Every day you stayed soft in a world that hardened you. And even when you think nothing is moving, energy is shifting around you. Even when you feel stuck, momentum is forming beneath you. Even when you feel delayed, timing is organizing itself for you. Even when you feel lost, alignment is happening behind you. Even when you feel forgotten, your life is being rearranged in your favor. Even when you feel empty, something new is being prepared to fill you. Soon, not someday. Soon, it will make sense. Soon, the dots will connect. Soon, the pieces will fit. Soon, the pain will explain itself. Soon, the waiting will reveal its purpose. Soon, you'll understand why it had to happen this way, why it couldn't have happened sooner, why it couldn't have unfolded differently, why it couldn't have skipped certain chapters. And soon, the reward for your patience will arrive, not as a miracle that came out of nowhere, but as the natural outcome of all the unseen work you've been doing inside yourself. The healing no one saw, the boundaries no one noticed, the self-respect no one applauded, the courage no one witnessed, the growth no one validated, the strength no one measured, the discipline no one recognized, the faith no one credited, because energy never goes unrewarded, and the universe never forgets a soul who stayed faithful in the waiting, a soul who stayed kind in the uncertainty, a soul who stayed open in the disappointment, a soul who stayed hopeful in the delay, a soul who stayed soft in the struggle, a soul who stayed alive in the silence. So tonight, if you're tired, if your heart feels heavy, if your spirit feels worn, if your mind feels uncertain, if your faith feels fragile, if your hope feels thin, if your patience feels stretched, if your strength feels depleted, rest, not because you're giving up, but because you're trusting, not because you're quitting, but because you're healing, not because you're weak, but because you're wise enough to let yourself breathe. Rest knowing this: the universe knows exactly what it's doing. It knows the timing of your blessings. It knows the reason for every delay. It knows the purpose of every pause. It knows the meaning of every ending. It knows the value of every waiting season. It knows the shape of every breakthrough. It knows the destination of every detour. And it knows that when it finally unfolds, when everything clicks, when the fog lifts, when the clarity arrives, you'll understand why it had to take this long, why it couldn't have happened sooner, why you had to become before you could receive. You're not falling apart. You're being reassembled, piece by piece, layer by layer, lesson by lesson, strength by strength, truth by truth, version by version. You're not being left behind. You're being aligned. Aligned with people who can meet you where you are. Aligned with paths that can hold your growth. Aligned with blessings that won't break you. Aligned with love that won't cost you yourself. Aligned with purpose that won't exhaust your soul. Aligned with opportunities that won't shrink you. Aligned with timing that won't rush you. You're not losing your way. You're being rerouted. Rerouted away from what couldn't hold you. Rerouted away from what would have broken you. Rerouted away from what wasn't ready for you. Rerouted toward what's worthy of you. Rerouted toward what's aligned with you. Rerouted toward what's meant for you. So, keep your heart open. Not naive, but receptive. Keep your faith alive. Not blind, but anchored. Keep your spirit soft. Not weak, but resilient. Keep your hope breathing. Not desperate, but patient. Keep your trust intact. Not fragile, but grounded. And trust that the same force that hung the stars in the sky, that carved the mountains, that shaped the oceans, that set the planets in motion, that moves the tides, that spins the galaxies, is still guiding your steps, still protecting your path, still organizing your timing, still writing your story. Because it is, and it always has been. If this message found you, it's not coincidence. It's alignment. It's timing. It's guidance. It's because the universe wanted you to hear this exact message at this exact moment in this exact season of your life. So leave a comment below and write, I trust the timing of my life. Not because the universe needs to hear it, but because you do. Because when you speak trust, your nervous system relaxes. When you declare trust, your mind softens. When you choose trust, your heart opens. And when your heart opens, what's meant for you can finally reach you. And share this message with someone who needs to hear it too. Because sometimes one message at the right moment, in the right season, in the right state of mind, can change everything.